Hey YouTube, this is John for Simplistic RC, and I just got a gimbal a little while back for my 3DR X8 copter. Also, I got a camera, which I'll show you that in a later video. But right now, I'm going to go over the gimbal that I got a little while back, and it's nothing but a Chinese cheap gimbal. I paid $38.40 for it on eBay. But you can get them from anywhere. They're all over the internet to find these things. And as you can see, they advertise it as FPV 2-axis brushless gimbal with controller for DJI Phantom, GoPro 3 and 4. So what you get in the box is some wires and some hardware to connect it up to your flight controller or your receiver. You get your strap for your GoPro. You can also put a Mobius on here, or XJ or a Yi camera on here. You could probably even put a keychain camera on here. You just probably had to put a little extra weight on there to balance it out. But these gimbals, they work great, you know, and they're good for starting off, or if you have a low budget. These are the perfect gimbals for you, and they work well. This one happens to be, there's a lot of clones out there, but this is a base cam board that's on this gimbal, and it's an 8-bit gimbal controller, I mean. And on this particular one that I got, they didn't put the full set of pins on here. And I need the full set of pins on here because I'll be hooking it into a Pixhawk flight controller. So the back pins would have been for the flight controller. The front pins are actually for if you're hooking it up to your RX. So I'm going to have to take this header off and move it to the back for my application. Also, I like that this one came with the JST connector on them. Some of them come with a balance connector to plug into your balance portion of your battery. So I like that also. Now, one drawback of these gimbals is a lot of times you have to just make some minor adjustments and stuff to get it to function properly and to maneuver around. And one of the problems with this one is if you look at the sensor on the bottom, what happens is if I want to point my camera 90 degrees down, it actually hits the frame here. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments to this so that it'll clear this frame without, you know, rubbing against it, which would also eventually break the wiring on that connector. And also there was a tie wrap that I took off, here it is right here, that tied these wires right back here to, you know, restrict the movement. And it also was restricting the gimbal from moving into a 90 degrees down direction. So I'm going to have to make those adjustments. So that's what I'm getting ready to do right now, is make the minor adjustments and the modifications to this. Then I'm going to put it on the copter and hook up the camera to it. And it has a mini USB to plug into your computer, so that you can and I'll show you where to get the firmware. Well, you don't want to upgrade this one. This is a 2.2 B2 version, and so you don't want to update this with any other version. Now they have different versions out there, but this is a 2.2 B2. So if you do that, it will take your board out and it will be no longer any good. So you don't want to update this firmware. So you have to make sure to know what version you got and if it can be upgradable. I think the newer boards, you can upgrade them to newer firmware, but this particular board you cannot. So like I said, we're just going to go ahead and make the modifications. We're going to plug it into the copter. We're going to hook it up to their software and do the tuning and see how she works.